1 Corinthians chapter 12. Now concerning spiritual favors, brothers and sisters, I don't want you to be ignorant. You are aware that when you were pagans, you were being led away to idols that had no voices, in whatever ways you were being led. For this reason, I want you to know that no one who is speaking under the power of Almighty Spirit can say, Jesus is cursed, and no one except one who is under the power of the pure Spirit can really say, Jesus is the Master. Now there are different assignments with respect to spiritual favors, yet it is the same Spirit that is giving them. And there are different assignments with respect to services, and it is the same who is being served. And there are different assignments with respect to operations, yet it is the same Almighty who is causing the operations in everything, everywhere. Yet the spiritual favor of making the Spirit apparent is given to each person to lead to the continual improvement of the whole group. For to one, by means of the Spirit, there is given the spiritual favor of expressing wisdom, to another the spiritual favor of expressing knowledge, according to the same Spirit, to another the spiritual favor of a special faith, through union with the same Spirit, to another the spiritual favors of doing different kinds of healings, by union with the one Spirit, to another the spiritual favor of doing powerful works, to another the spiritual favor of prophecy, to another the spiritual favor of making a judgment between spirits, to another the spiritual favor of speaking in different types of foreign languages, and to another the spiritual favor of translating foreign languages. Yet the one and the same Spirit is causing all of these spiritual favors to operate, since it is assigning to each person his own spiritual favor, just as it is intending. For just like the human body is one and yet has many parts, and all the parts of the body, although they are many, are one body, so too it is with the Anointed One. Yes, for by one Spirit we have all been immersed into one body, whether Jews or non-Jews, whether slaves or free people, and we have all been given one Spirit to drink. For the body doesn't consist of one part, but of many. If the foot says, "Since I'm not a hand, I'm not part of the body," but this doesn't make it not part of the body. Now if the ear says, "Since I'm not an eye, I'm not part of the body," but this doesn't make it not part of the body. If the whole body was an eye, where would the hearing be? If the whole body was an ear, where would the sense of smell be? Yet it is a fact that Almighty has placed each one of the parts of the body just as He wanted them to be. Now if all of it was one part, where would the body be? Yet it is a fact that there are, on the one hand, many parts, yet on the other hand, one body. Now the eye can't say to the hand, "I don't need you," or again the head, or one end, to the feet, the other end, "I don't need you." No, more importantly, those parts of the body that are supposed to possess weaker functions are necessary for our health, and the parts of the body that we are supposing to be less honorable, we are investing with abundantly more honor, and our less respected parts have abundantly more respectability with our body. Yet our more respected parts don't need it. Yes, Almighty has blended the body together by giving an abundantly more honorable function to the part that is in need of it, so that there should be no split in the body, but so that the parts should have the same concern for one another. Now if one part is suffering, all the parts are suffering together with it. Or if one part is being esteemed, all the parts are rejoicing together with it. Now you are the Anointed One's body, and individually you are parts of it. And Almighty has placed you in the group of called ones. First, as those who are dispatched envoys. Second, as those who are prophets. Third, as those who are teachers. Then, after that, as those who have the spiritual favor of doing powerful works. Then, after that, as those who have the spiritual favors of doing different kinds of healings. Those who have the spiritual favor of supporting. Those who have the spiritual favor of steering. And those who have the spiritual favor of speaking in different types of foreign languages. All aren't dispatched envoys, are they? All aren't prophets, are they? All aren't teachers, are they? All don't have the spiritual favor of doing powerful works, do they? All don't have the spiritual favors of doing different kinds of healings, do they? All don't have the spiritual favor of speaking in foreign languages, do they? All don't have the spiritual favor of interpreting foreign languages, do they? Yet you must be continually enthusiastic for the greater spiritual favors. But now, I'm going to show you an immensely better way. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Even if I can speak in every language of humans and messengers, yet don't have love, I have become a reverberating bronze gong or a clanging cymbal. Even if I have the spiritual favor of prophecy, and am aware of all the secrets and all the knowledge, even if I have all the faith necessary to move mountains from where they stand, yet don't have love, I am nothing. Even if I give away in portions all my possessions, even if I give up my body so that I might boast, yet don't have love, I'm not going to benefit from it in any way. Love is continually patient. Love is continually being kind. It is never jealous. Love is never bragging. It is never puffed up. It is never disrespectful. It is never self-seeking. It never becomes incensed or angry. It is never keeping an account of bad things done to it. It is never rejoicing at the success of injustice. Yet it is continually rejoicing together with the truth at the success of the truth. It is continually putting up with things without limit. It is continually having faith without limit. It is continually hoping without limit. It is continually enduring without limit. Love is never going to become a corpse or pass away. Yet where there are spiritual favors of prophecy, they will be discarded. Where there are spiritual favors of speaking in foreign languages, they will stop. Where there is a spiritual favor of knowledge, it will be discarded. For we are knowing things based on an installment, and we are prophesying based on an installment. Yet when maturity of the body comes during this age, whatever was based on an installment will be discarded. When I was a youngster, I used to speak like a youngster, to set my mind like a youngster, and to regard things like a youngster. Yet when I became an adult, I discarded the ways of a youngster. Yes, at this present time, during the first Christian century, we are observing things indistinctly by means of a mirror, yet later face to face. At this present time we are knowing things based on an installment, yet later we will fully know things just as we also have been fully known. Yet it is a fact that these three are going to stay: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians chapter 14. You must be continually pursuing this love, and be continually enthusiastic for the spiritual favors, especially the spiritual favor of prophecy. For the person who is speaking in a language that is foreign to the listeners isn't speaking to humans, but to Almighty, since no one is hearing his meaning. Yet he is speaking secrets with his spirit. 1 Corinthians 14, verses 14 through 15. Yet the person who is prophesying is speaking words to humans that can build them up, encourage them, and comfort them. The person who is speaking in a foreign language is building up himself, yet the person who is prophesying is building up the group of called ones. Now I would like all of you to speak in foreign languages, yet I would rather have you prophesy, since the person who is prophesying is greater than the person who is speaking in foreign languages, unless he can also interpret it, so that the group of called ones might get built up. Yet now, brothers and sisters, if I come to you speaking in foreign languages, how shall I make it a benefit for you, unless what I speak to you contains either some kind of revelation, knowledge, prophecy, or teaching that you can understand? In the same way, lifeless things that make a sound, whether a flute or harp, unless the utterances are distinct, how will it be known what is being played on the flute or the harp? Now if a trumpet makes an uncertain sound, who will prepare for battle? This is how it is also with you. Unless you express by means of a language something that is easily understood, how will it be known what is being spoken? You will just be speaking into the air. There are, as it happens, ever so many types of voices or languages in the world, and none of these types is without meaning. So then, unless I am aware of the meaning of the voice, I will be like a non-Greek speaking person to the person who is speaking Greek, and the person who is speaking will be like a non-Greek speaking person to me, if I only understood Greek. This is how it must be also with you, since you are enthusiastic for spiritual favors. You must be continually seeking to be abundant in them, in what leads to the building up of the group of called ones. For this reason, the person who is speaking in a foreign language must be continually praying that he might be able to interpret it. For if I am praying in a foreign language, my spirit is praying, yet my mind is unfruitful. So then, what is to be done? I will praise with my spirit, yet I will also pray with my mind. I will make a melody with my spirit, yet I will also make it with my mind. Otherwise, if you are blessing with your spirit, how will the one who fills up the place of an unskilled person declare, "I agree, it is true," to your giving of thanks, since, in fact, he isn't aware of what you are saying? For you, of course, are giving thanks quite ideally, but the other person isn't being built up. I thank Almighty that I can speak in more languages than all of you, but in the group of called ones, I would rather speak 5 words with my mind, so that I might instruct the others also, than 10,000 words in a foreign language. Brothers and sisters, you must stop being little children who need instruction with regard to your minds. But you must be continually too young to have a say in doing whatever is bad. Yet you must be continually mature with regard to your minds. It has been written in the law, "My people with other languages, and by the lips of other people, I will speak to this people. But even then they won't hear me," says the Master. Isaiah 28, verses 11 through 12. Therefore, the foreign languages are for a sign, not for believers, but for unbelievers. Yet prophecy isn't for unbelievers, but for believers. So then, if the whole group of called ones comes together in the same place for a love feast, and everyone is speaking in foreign languages, and unskilled persons or unbelievers enter, won't they declare that you are crazy? Yet if everyone is prophesying, and some unbeliever or unskilled person enters, he's going to be exposed to all of these things, and be examining himself by all of them. The hidden things of his heart are going to become apparent to him. And so he will fall on his face and worship Almighty, reporting that Almighty is really among you. So then, what is to be done, brothers and sisters? When you come together for a love feast, one has a musical composition, another has a teaching, another has something to reveal, another has a foreign language, and another has a translation. Everything must be occurring in a manner that leads to the building up. If anyone is going to speak in a foreign language, there should be only 2 or at the most 3, and one at a time, and one must also be interpreting. Yet if there isn't an interpreter, that person must be silent in the group of called ones, and must be speaking to himself and to Almighty. Yet only 2 or 3 prophets must be speaking, and the others must be making a judgment. Yet if something is revealed to another who is sitting down, the first must be silent. For you can all be prophesying one by one, so that everyone might be learning and everyone might be encouraged. Now the spirits of the prophets are subservient to the prophets. For Almighty isn't an Almighty of turbulence, but of peace, as in all the groups of called and pure ones. Your women must be silent in the groups of called ones, for no permission is being given to them to speak. Only people with spiritual favors of the speaking types were to be speaking. Rather, they must be subservient to those who are authorized to speak, and not be interpreting them or challenging them with questions. Just as the law also says, Numbers 12 verses 1 through 15. Now if they want to learn about something, they must be asking their own husbands or fathers at home. For it is shameful for a woman to be continually speaking in a group of called ones, if they don't have one of the speaking types of spiritual favors. Did Almighty's word go out from you people? Or has it reached to only you people? Whoever is presuming to be a prophet or a person with a spiritual favor must be continually recognizing that what I write to you is the Master's direction. Now if anyone is ignorant of this, you must let him be ignorant. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, you must be continually enthusiastic to prophecy, and you must stop forbidding anyone from speaking in foreign languages. But everything must be occurring in a respectable and orderly manner. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Now I want to remind you, brothers and sisters, about the good message which I brought to you, which also you accepted, in which also you have taken a stand, and through which also you are going to be saved from destruction, if you are continually holding on to the word that I brought to you as the good message, unless your faith was just an image. For I delivered over to you among those first things that I also had accepted, that the Anointed One died for the things that we have done that are wrong, in accordance with the writings. Musical Composition 22, Isaiah 53, Daniel 9 verse 26, and Zechariah 12 verse 10, and 13 verse 7. That he was buried, that he was awakened on the 3rd day in accordance with the writings. Musical Composition 16 verse 10, Isaiah 53 verse 10, and Hosea 6 verse 2, and that he was seen by Cephas, or Peter, and then after that by the 12. Then after that, he was seen by over 500 brothers and sisters at one time, the majority of whom are still alive even until now. Yet some have fallen asleep or died. Then after that, he was seen by James, and after this, by all the dispatched envoys. Yet last of all, he was seen also by me, like to a premature, dead-born baby. For I am the least of the dispatched envoys, and I am not fit enough to be called the dispatched envoy, because I persecuted Almighty's group of called ones. Yet by Almighty's favor I am what I am, and His favor to me didn't come to be for nothing. For I have labored abundantly more than all of them, yet not I, but Almighty's favor that is with me. Yet not I, but Almighty's favor that is with me. So then, whether it was I or they, this is what we are proclaiming, and this is what you believed. Now, since it is continually being proclaimed that the Anointed One has already been awakened from among the dead, how can some of you say that there isn't going to be a resurrection of the dead? Now, if there isn't going to be a resurrection of the dead, then neither has the Anointed One been awakened. Now, if the Anointed One hasn't been awakened, therefore our proclaiming is for nothing, and your faith is for nothing. And we are also being found to be false witnesses about Almighty, because we have testified with respect to Almighty, that He did wake up the Anointed One, whom He didn't wake up, provided that the dead aren't going to be awakened. For if the dead aren't going to be awakened, then neither has the Anointed One been awakened. And if the Anointed One hasn't been awakened, your faith is meaningless. You are still in the things that you have done that are wrong. Therefore, also, those who have fallen asleep or died in union with the Anointed One have been destroyed. If we are continually putting our hope in the Anointed One only in regard to this life, we are the most in need of mercy above all humans. Yet it is a fact that the Anointed One has already been awakened from among the dead, the first fruit of those who have fallen asleep or died. For in fact, since it was through a human that death resulted, it was also through a human that the resurrection of the dead is going to result. For just as everyone through union with Adam is dying, so too, everyone who is in union with the Anointed One will be given life, yet each of his own detachment. The Anointed One is the first fruit. Then after that, at His presence, at the beginning of the last age, those who belong to the Anointed One. After this is the completion of this world, when He is going to deliver the kingdom over to His Almighty and Father, when He has made every other supreme chief and every other authority and power vanish in the fiery destruction of the second death. Revelation 20, verses 14 through 15. For He, Jesus, has to be reigning until He has placed all His enemies under His feet. The last enemy that is going to be made to vanish is death. Revelation 20, verse 14. For He has made everything subservient under His feet. Musical Composition 8, verse 6. Yet when He says that everything has been made subservient, it is evident that He doesn't include the one who has made everything subservient to Him. Now when everything has been made subservient to Him, then the Son Himself will also be subservient to the one who has made everything subservient to Him, so that Almighty might be in everything everywhere. Otherwise, what will those do who are being immersed? Is it for the dead? If the dead absolutely aren't going to be awakened, why are they being immersed? Is it for them? Why, too, are we putting ourselves in danger every hour? Day after day I am near death. I assure you of this by the boast that I have about you, brothers and sisters, through our union with the Anointed One Jesus, our Master. If from merely human motives I fought wild beasts in Ephesus, a coastal city in Lydia, West Turkey, what is the benefit to me? If the dead aren't going to be awakened, let's eat and drink, for tomorrow we are going to die. Isaiah 22 verse 13 and 56 verse 12. You must stop being led astray. Bad companionships cause the decay of kind habits. You must sober up, as is just and right, and must stop doing things that are wrong, for some of you are ignorant about Almighty. I am saying this to turn you around in shame. But someone will protest, how are the dead going to be awakened? And with what kind of body are they going to come? You unintelligent person, the seed that you plant doesn't come to life unless it dies first. And the seed that you plant, you don't plant the body that the seed will become, but a naked kernel, perhaps of wheat or some other grain. Yet Almighty is giving it a body just as He wanted, and to each kind of the seeds its own body. All flesh isn't the same kind of flesh, but there is one kind for humans, another kind of flesh for beasts, another kind of flesh for birds, and another kind for fish. There are bodies for heavenly beings, as well as bodies for earthly beings. But the esteem of the heavenly ones belongs to one kind, yet the esteem of the earthly ones belongs to another. The esteem of the sun belongs to one kind, and the esteem of the moon belongs to another, and the esteem of the stars belongs to still another. Yes, one star excels another star in esteem. This is how it is with the resurrection of the dead. While it is being planted with the body that is subject to decay or death, it is going to be awakened with a body that is never going to be subject to decay or continually alive. While it is being planted without honor, it is going to be awakened in esteem. While it is being planted in weakness, it is going to be awakened in power. While it is being planted as a sentient body, it is going to be awakened as a spiritual body. If there is a sentient body, there is also a spiritual body. This is how it has been written also. The first human, Adam, became a living sentient being. Genesis 2 verse 7. The last Adam, that is, the last head of humanity, Jesus, has become a life-giving spirit. But it wasn't the spiritual body that was first, but the sentient body. Then, after that, the spiritual body. The first human was from the earth, from the topsoil. The second human was from heaven, Jesus. As the one from the topsoil was, so also are those who are from the topsoil. And as the one from heaven is, so also are those who are from heaven. And just as we have worn the image of the one from the topsoil, we will also wear the image of the one from heaven. Now I am affirming this, brothers and sisters, that flesh and blood, or the live body, can't inherit a share in Almighty's kingdom, nor can what is decaying, or the dead body, inherit a share of the condition of never decaying, of being continually alive. Notice, I am telling you a secret. All of these from this age won't fall asleep or die. Yet all of us will be changed in an instant, in a blink of an eye, at the last blowing of the trumpet. For the trumpet will be blown, and the dead will be awakened with bodies that are never going to be subject to decay, or to live continually. And we will be changed. For this body that is subject to decay has to put on, like clothing, what is never going to decay, and this body that is subject to dying has to put on, like clothing, what is never going to die. Now when this body that is subject to decay puts on, like clothing, what is never going to decay, and this body that is subject to dying puts on, like clothing, what is never going to die, then the word that has been written will occur. Death has been swallowed up by victory. Isaiah 25 verse 8. O death, where is your victory? O death, where is your sting? Hosea 13 verse 14. Now it is wrongdoing that gives death its sting, and it is the law that gives wrongdoing its power. Yet thanks be to Almighty, who is going to give us the victory by means of our Master Jesus, the Anointed One. Therefore, my dearly loved brothers and sisters, you must continually be settled and unmovable, and must be always abundantly working for the Master, since you must be aware that your labor in the service of the Master isn't for nothing. 1 Corinthians chapter 16. Now concerning the collection of the pure ones, just as I advocated to the groups of called ones in Galatia, or central Turkey, this is how you also must do. On Saturday evening, the first day after every Sabbath day, each of you must be continually laying something aside at home for whatever each prospers, and must be continually storing it up, so that there is no need for each to be making collection when I come. Now when I come, I will send those whom you approve with letters to carry away your favor to Jerusalem. Now if it is worthwhile for me to go too, they will go together with me. Now I will come to you after I pass through Macedonia, North Greece, for I am going to pass through Macedonia, North Greece. Now perhaps I will stay with you, or even spend the winter, so that you might help me on my way to wherever I might go. For I don't want to see you at this present time, while I'm on my way somewhere else, since I hope to stay on with you for some time, if the Master permits me. Yet I will stay on in Ephesus, a coastal city in Lydia, West Turkey, until Pentecost, the Jewish harvest feast, the 50th day, since a door has been opened for me that is wide and effective in operation, and many are continually opposing me. Now if Timothy comes, you must be continually looking after him, so that he isn't afraid when he is among you, for he is continually and intensely working for the Master, just as I am. So then, he must not be treated with contempt by anyone. Now you must help him on his way in peace, for I am waiting for him to come to me with the brothers and sisters. Now concerning our brother Apollos, I have encouraged him much to come to you with the brothers and sisters, but he positively didn't want to come now, yet he will come when he has an opportunity. You must be continually wide awake, and must be continually standing firm in the faith, and must be continually brave, and must be continually mighty. Everything that you are doing must be continually occurring in love. Now you are aware that those of Stephanas' household were the first fruits in Achaia, or South Greece, and that they took it upon themselves to be serving the pure ones. I am encouraging you, brothers and sisters, that you also might be subservient to each person's, and to every co-worker and laborer. Now I rejoice at the presence here of Stephanas, Fortunatus, and Achaicus, because what I needed from you these persons have filled up. For they have soothed my spirit as well as yours. So then, you must be continually recognizing such persons. Wanting to hug you are the groups of called ones in the province of Asia, West Turkey. Wanting to hug you much as people who are in union with the Master are Aquila and his wife Priscilla, together with the group of called ones who meet at their house for love feasts. Wanting to hug you are all the brothers and sisters. Hug one another for me with a pure kiss. This greeting I, Paul, write with my own hand. A curse upon anyone who isn't continually fond of the Master. Maranatha. That is, Master, come, in the native language of Mideasterners. May the favor of the Master Jesus be with you. My love to all of you who are in union with the Anointed One Jesus. Let it be true, or let it be so.